Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 326. Now's not the time, or is it exactly the right time? Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. How's everybody doing out there? My birthday is this week, April 10th, 47 years old. It's just strange, like when I turned 40, that felt like a big milestone. I had quit drinking that year, started my business, my life kind of completely did an about face. And it's been such an interesting ride for these past 7 years to reflect on, what has changed in my life, new things I look forward to. And I just love looking back and noticing what would be different about my life if I was still drinking. I love having that comparison, honestly. I love the contrast. I have so much more emotional capacity. I can handle really difficult emotional things and be with that and not react and wait it out and make better decisions and take bigger risks and think things clearly, think through things in a much clearer, more organized way than I used to be able to. I used to be so high stress, high strung, highly anxious, overwhelmed. And I do take fast action now, but I used to just make really quick knee-jerk reactions, usually emotional reactions to things. And now I don't do that, especially when I'm feeling emotional. I definitely slow down, recognize my feelings, and wait and see if, waiting can be the best decision or if there's a better solution when I'm not so emotional. So I just love reflecting back on the changes, over the past 7 years, and we're getting ready to go through some other big changes that I will be sharing about in the near future. But I want to talk about today in this podcast about, I've heard from a lot of people. There's a sentiment, around people who want to make personal changes in their lives, whether they want to stop over drinking or take a break from alcohol, or maybe they want to lose weight or start working out. And they think now is not the time because of what's going on in the world, right? All of the uncertainty coming out of the US. And they can't imagine doing something challenging like that or changing a habit, especially around drinking, because they've used alcohol to cope, for difficult times. And they can't imagine writing this out without having that coping tool, right? To take the edge off all of these news headlines and tariffs and, ups and downs and job losses and just the instability and uncertainty of it all, right? Whether you've been affected or not, it just feels uncertain, if you're paying attention. So a lot of times people think now's not the time because they can't imagine not having that comfort during difficult situations. But I want to challenge you on that in this podcast, because what I like to say is there's never a perfect time. Obviously, we don't know what is coming in our lives, right? There's always uncertainty. We just don't walk around thinking about the uncertainty like we are right now, right? It's not so much in our face as it is right now, but it's always uncertain. There's nothing guaranteed. People can die in a car accident, people get diagnosed, big medical diagnoses all the time. People get divorced, people get fired. There's all sorts of things that happen that we can't know about. It's impossible for us to predict the future. And so there's never a perfect time in life. Life is challenging. Life has its ups and downs. There's not really a time in life that feels things are running smoothly for any extended period of time, right? And often it feels like, oh, I just got hit with another blow. Oh, now this is happening. Now this is happening. Can't I ever get a break, right? That's probably more common than things running smoothly. And so if you're waiting for something to be smooth or for you to feel better about making changes with alcohol, I just want to kind of crack that belief a little bit and just like tell you there's never a perfect time. So, just kind of getting back into the uncertainty right now, it can feel very uncertain. I've talked about this so much in the last few episodes, but personally, globally, emotionally, I know my feelings are I'm feeling really good and positive one day, and then the next day it changes. And then I sit with those difficult feelings, and the next day I get back, and it's just like it's very up and down. And that's not a problem. It's just absolutely normal given what's happening right now in the world. So, if you are thinking that this isn't the right time, or maybe you decided not to join a live AF or sign up for a retreat or something like that, or join my Stop Over Drinking and Start Living coaching program because you haven't thought it's the right time, because you have too much going on, I just want to challenge that. And maybe you can consider this actually might be the best time. And we think that we need to be stable and to be able to predict time to work on this and, a lot of maybe less busyness and stress going on for you to focus and do the work to make these changes. And you might think that you might need to wait for things to calm down before starting. And, that would be amazing, honestly. It would be amazing if that was real, but it's just not because it's not life, like I said before. So the problem with waiting is that just means that you're staying stuck, right? It just means that you're not progressing towards the relationship with alcohol that you want to have when you could. It's actually possible that you could work on this even when things feel uncertain. So again, life doesn't really just say, okay, you've got 6 months with nothing going on and nobody's sick and no job changes and nobody needs anything from you. That just doesn't happen very much. At least I haven't seen it in the thousands of people that I work with. Maybe there's been a couple times, maybe somebody's recently retired and they have a lot of free time on their hands, but that usually is short-lived because somebody gets sick or something else happens or there's an aging parent that needs their help all of a sudden, right? So it might happen occasionally, but it doesn't last. The truth is that uncertainty actually can be really helpful because it reveals your habits and your patterns and how you are coping emotionally more clearly than things running smoothly in your life, right? So when things are feeling tumultuous or difficult things are happening in your life, that shows you how you cope. That shows you how you respond to stressful events. And when you're in that pattern, in those kind of stressful events, or you're feeling uncertainty, that's when you get the awareness and you learn about how you deal with things. And we have to have that information in order to make long-term changes, permanent long-term changes, right? We want to study ourselves in these types of situations. So if you can learn to reduce your drinking now, right, during an uncertain time, you're going to be solid. You're going to build a very, very solid foundation for the rest, right? Not only do you get to see how you cope with alcohol, but you'll get to see how you respond to a lot of different things, right? How do you talk to people? How are you making quick decisions that aren't really thought through? Are you causing more problems by being extra responsive to your emotions during difficult times, right? And that can impact the rest of your life. I know I talk about this a lot, but the fact that I learned how to do this in 2018, that got me through COVID. And I was so glad that I had that baseline, because then I was able to navigate COVID and run my business still and keep going and keep moving forward, because I had that awareness about my tendencies. When things feel hard or I get emotional, I know my tendencies. I know myself really, really well. And when you know yourself really, really well, and you know kind of where you lean and how you react when you feel a certain way, you can interrupt those behaviors and reduce a lot of extra problems that may come from that. And you can pause and you can think things clearly and you have more clarity around things. It's just such a helpful thing to have. It's a lifelong skill. So I'm challenging you to say it differently. maybe you can say, you know what, I'm going to use this uncertain time and I'm going to learn about my behavior. I'm going to learn some tools, some better coping tools, right when I need better coping tools, when it's handed to me, right? And you can go in and learn how to deal with not drinking or cutting back on your alcohol consumption when things feel uncertain. That's where I can help you for sure. I can help coach you. I can help you guide and process your feelings in any of my coaching programs, whether you're in Alive AF, my 6-month Stop Over Drinking and Start Living coaching program, or if you work with me privately. That is something that I love helping people do. I love helping people see where their mind goes when they are triggered. When they're dealing with real life stuff, I help you pause and interrupt those things so that you make better decisions and you stay on track towards the life that you want and the relationship with alcohol that you want. And then you learn to trust yourself in those sticky situations. And you can practice handling real emotions without numbing and learn real coping skills that are actually good for you and don't keep you stuck and set you back. And you build resilience and self-awareness that, like I said, will serve you for a long, long, long time coming, for the rest of your life. So this isn't about being perfect. It's about starting, okay? Just taking the next step and starting, even imperfectly, even when things feel uncertain. Even if it's something really small. So maybe like you try not drinking tonight, even when you feel uncertain, even when you're feeling stressed about the news cycle or the stock market or whatever it is. Could I just sit with my feelings for tonight? Could I just let myself not drink tonight? Doesn't have to be a big thing. Small mindset shifts, small changes that you do consistently over time is how you get there. Another way to think about this is I don't need everything to be perfect before I start, because that's not real. And it's not going to, even if it does feel perfect for some people to start, it's not going to last. Okay. And then if you need some help creating certainty within yourself, go listen to my last 2 podcast episodes because I really talk about how to do that. You can rely on yourself to feel certainty, and having a goal, a small personal goal like this, can be super helpful even when our external circumstances don't feel certain. So inviting you to get going even when things feel tough, because you have this real life experience right now to use in your advantage, so you can see how you're coping and make those changes that will last forever. So if you want to work with me, you can do that by applying to work with me privately by privately coaching with me, and it's an application process. I'll link that up in the show notes. And then I am enrolling and taking applications now for the 6-month Stop Over Drinking and Start Living coaching program. The second cohort of this year kicks off in July. We will link up that application now. People are applying. I'm having phone calls with people now so that we can get you all registered and set up to start for the July cohort. So we will link both of those up in the show notes. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me hello@angelamascenik.com, and I believe in you. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.